Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm Kendra, my fellow I STEM with big friends and followers, and my Hellcomers and subscribers. This is your Hellfire leader, Maggie Negan, the Walking Dead Fangirl 27. How's everyone doing today? So, today's title of it is The Woke Culture is Going After Joan of Arc by Race Swapping. So, let's talk about it. But before we do, you guys, if you guys really enjoy this video, to like this video, share it with your friends and family, as well as subscribe to my Hellfire Club already, guys. And please check the description down below to follow my social media platforms, as well as support Kime Kendra, guys. By supporting, I mean like subscribe to his YouTube channel by checking out his latest live streams. And I gotta say that Kaim is really entertaining when it comes to gaming. His latest videos that he uploaded was, I believe, the Expedition 32, I believe, or 22, one of these games. He plays so many video games, it's sort of hard to keep track. But the latest ones that he recently also made was also Doom 2, Reanimal, and so many others. Alright, so give it a check out, and of course, please find a little agent to get Kyan's book published. It is called Red Scarlet Violin. So keep supporting his wonderful material, and of course, check out his latest blog post of his artwork and story blog. So continue doing that, and supporting Kyan. Alright, so good luck, Kyan. I believe in you. Alright, keep up the good work. So let's get back to the video about Joan of Arc, shall we, guys? So apparently, this article came on my feed on X, and I was trying to pinch myself, thinking that this is not happening in real life, and it's happening. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick history lesson about Joan of Arc, you guys, because since none of you, and I'm not saying all of you that doesn't know Joan of Arc, I know you guys took history longer than I did, but pretty much the same quality time as I did, because I took history as long as I remember, since I don't know, the beginning of time, you know, because apparently I do know history, but I just want to like show you guys actual facts about Joan of Arc. Who is she? Where is she from? And everything else. So this is gonna be a quick history lesson for all of you that doesn't know who Joan of Arc is, and I'd be happy to explain all of it. So this is dedication to the History Channel, and yes, there are so many other sources that know who Joan of Arc is, but I rely on History.com, so I'll definitely leave the link down in the description as well so you can get the information from, okay? So who is Joan of Arc? Joan of Arc was born on 1412, in 1412 that is. She was the only daughter of a tenant farmer named Jacques d'Arc from the village of Domery in northern eastern France. She was not taught how to read or write, but her pious mother Isabel Rome instilled in her deep love for the Catholic Church and its teachings. At the time, France had long been torn apart by a bitter conflict between England, later known as the Hundred Years' War, in which England has gained the upper hand. A peace treaty in 1420 disinherited the French crown, Prince Charles of Valois, amid accusations of his illegitimacy, and King Henry V was made ruler of both England and France. His son Henry VI succeeded him in 1422 along with its French allies, led by Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy. England occupied much of northern France, and many in Joan's village, Dormany, were forced to abandon their homes and under the threat of an invasion. At the age of 13, Joan began to hear voices which she determined had been sent by God to give her a mission of overwhelming importance to save France by expelling its enemies and then to install Charles as its rightful king. As part of this divine mission, Joan took a vow of chastity at the age of 16 after her father attempted to arrange a marriage for her. She successfully convinced a local court that she could not be forced to accept the match. The Siege of Orleans. In May 1428, Joan made her way to the Vaucouleurs, a nearby stronghold of those loyal to Charles. Initially rejected by the local magistrate Robert de Beaucroc, she persisted, attracting a small band of followers who believed her claims to be the Virgin who, according to a popular prophecy, was destined to save France. When Brindecourt relented, cropped her hair, and dressed in men's clothes to make the 11-day journey across enemy territory to Chinon, site of the crown prince's palace, Joan promised Charles she would see him crowned king at Reims, the traditional site of French royal investitures, and asked him to give her an army to lead to Orleans, then under siege from the English. In the spring of 1430, the king ordered Joan to confront at the Bulgarian assault to Campeche in her effort to defend the town and its inhabitants. She was thrown from her horse and was left outside through the town's gates as they closed. The Burgundians took her captive and brought her amid much fanfare to the castle of Beauvais, occupied by the English commander at the Rhone, and to her timely and unfortunate death. In a trial of death followed, Joan was ordered to answer to 70 charges against her, including witchcraft, heresy, and dressing like a man. The Anglo-Burgons were aiming to get rid of the young leader as well as direct district Charles, who owed his coronation to her. In an attempt to distance himself from an accused heretic and the witch, the French king made no attempt to negotiate Joan's release. In May 1431, after a year in captivity and under threat of death, Joan relentlessly and signed her confession denying that she had ever received divine guidance. Several days later, however, she defied orders by again donning men's clothes, and authorities pronounced her death sentence on the morning of May 30th, 1431. At the age of 19, Joan was taken to the old marketplace where she was burned at the stake. And you guys probably want to know how Joan of Arc, really looks like, her appearance, that is, right? Since you guys are so dying to know this, right? Because you really want to know who she really looks like, right? So, according to sources, they said her complexion was described as swarthy, meaning aka dark, or deeply tanned from her time in the sun. And apparently, she was not African American. Just to let you guys know. Her hair and eyes, as it says, claimed that she had black hair, and according to reconstructions based on the descriptions, she had dark, large eyes. And her physicality, she was roughly 5'2", with a strong, thick set, and muscular build. And her background, here's the kicker for anyone that doesn't know this, right? She was a white French peasant girl. You hear me right, folks. She was a white French peasant girl. So the play that's taking place right now, you guys, if you can see this right now, this picture that I have it right now, and that's going to be my thumbnail, that is, right? Joan of Arc is going to be played by a Scottish actress who has African roots, that is, right? It is played by no other than Madiba Kambana. Sorry if my Spanish gets in the way, you guys. I couldn't, like, get get that out of the way, okay? I can't help it. It just rolls on top of my tongue. But this is her name, by the way. And for those who want to know who is in charge of the theater production, that is, it's apparently it's really shocking if you ask me, guys. It's very disappointing. Okay, so the theater production, as I can assume, it's really baffling if you ask me, right? So let me pull it up so I can show you guys, because it seems like the theater production is now under fire because of this, right? Right here, there we go, is the open window theater production, right? So they're involved in this kind of production, making Joan of Arc dark skin. Yeah, you hear that right, folks. You know? So, according to sources, it says right here, by 2026, several productions of Joan of Arc are scheduled. Most notably, a new play has been written and is directed by no other than Jeremy Stanberry, an open window theater production writer and director. And it's going to be, the title of the play is called Saint Joan, and is the touring of the Scottish adaptation, of this play, and is created by George Bernard Shaw, directed by Stuart Lang from Raw Material Arts, and other people throughout the program. So you hear it right here, folks. Oh, by the way, another thing too, before I continue with this lesson with you guys, so you guys can understand my frustration about this production, right? I'm not going after the theater production, no way, shape, or form. I'm not throwing a lawsuit. It's no way in hell I'm going to press any charges, because what's the point of all that? Total waste of time and money and energy, that's for sure. If you guys want to know when this theater production is going to come out, okay, it's going to come out in the US, right? The world premiere, that is, right? And according to that, it's going to be coming out by May 1st and the 31st. So it's not going to be long, it's going to be only on May. So I wonder how that's going to last of this year. All right. So Let's talk about this for a second, shall we, guys? Because I'm getting a little annoyed by this kind of theater program, you know? So, there you have it, everyone. I gave you guys a history lesson about Joan of Arc. I told you about her background, her ethnicity, her even her physicality, everything. So, tell me something, everyone that's watching my video, since you guys, heard me talk and ramble throughout this video. Does she does she look like Joan of Arc to you? Besides her ride on a horse? Clearly not, right? So, does this director is colorblind? Does he have cataracts or something? Like, do we miss something here? No? Okay. Apparently, he probably does. Because I never knew that people hate history or like to race swap people who are based on history so much. They really hate us, don't we? And not to mention, you guys, not to like stutter, I do apologize for that. But didn't you know that Joan of Arc was Christian? You know? And I don't recall if Scottish is maybe Christian. I don't recall that. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% if they are actually Christians over there. I don't want to assume anything, but please let me know because I don't want to be, twisting things around here. But just hear me out on this, right? Just clarify me and try to get my head on straight. I'm trying to figure this very clearly, right? Does this young woman, right? Not only she's from Scotland, but even though she has some African roots, I presume, right? You know, does she really deep down fit the description as Joan of Arc? Does she really look like her? Let that sink in for a moment, you guys. I just need to know this, okay? Because this is happening quite often. You understand? And you guys gonna probably tell me in the comments, like, telling me, oh, Maggie, like, are you racist? Like, dude, I'm not effing racist. Are you kidding me right now? Do not bring the whole racist card into my head or in my face, okay? You can't take that racist card and shove it so far up there that I don't want nothing to do with that, okay? I'm not racist. I read history. I visit history artifacts. I go to people's, history museums. Don't tell me I'm racist, okay? I freaking go to school. I pay attention in class like everyone else does. I take notes. All right? Call me a nerd. I don't give a crap. I like history more than the next person. Give me a break, okay? And I believe the historians are going to probably question this because they're going to probably say, like, what is going on? You're deciding to change history now? Like, history never existed? Like, tell me this, you guys. Like, did history like not happen for anybody? Like, what am I missing? Like my friends are like telling me in the comments are saying like, why are they wiping out history? Why they want to race swap people that actually happened? Like, what the hell's going on? And I am siding with them. It's really ridiculous. And then I mentioned in my previous video about, yes, I understand that Helen of Troy is not a real person. I know, I'm not an idiot. I know that Helen of Troy is not a real person. But the thing is, the book alone, the Iliad, the Odyssey, is written by Homer, a Greek philosopher. And here he compared, how, like, give a comparison or description of how Helen of Troy looks like. Do I need a freaking dictionary to show you guys how she really looks like? Are you kidding me? Do I have to like, spell it out for you of how she really looks like? I don't need to give you guys a freaking lecture or slideshow of how Helen of Troy looks like, but getting back to Joan of Arc of what's happening is already causing a lot of backlash and controversy. I don't know what kind of theater production thinks it's okay or give the acceptance, like the main people of the theater program. I'm not saying whoever is doing this, who's involved in this, the director, I'm not trying to like sabotage him. He can write all he wants. But what he's doing is blasphemy, is really causing a big stir, and he's already getting hate. She's already getting hate. It's all over X, guys. It's crazy. Like, look very carefully. People are quote tweeting, they're saying what is going on, it's happening too much. And I agree, it's really happening too much. Look what just happened, okay? I give you several examples, okay? Look what they did to Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII. Did she look like Anne Boleyn? No. She was not Anne Boleyn. She's not. She's a good actress. She's very beautiful, yes. a beautiful woman inside and out. I'm not, mad about her complexion, about how she looks in real life, but her portraying a historical figure, that's kind of messed up. Okay, she looks nothing like Anne Boleyn. Another thing too, Cleopatra. Cleopatra was not black. Okay, I don't know what Netflix was thinking. It makes no freaking sense. She was Mesopotamia. I just freaking repeating myself, saying the word. She was Greek descent. Okay? Like, what else can I tell you? And it's keep repeating the same damn thing of history, being changed for no apparent reason. It just mind boggling. It's happening too much. Like, what is happening? You know? And I feel like, and this is really what's triggering me. It's probably that's the case, you guys. This is what's going on. They want to reverse history just to trigger us. This is the whole tactic. This is what people are doing nowadays. It's not just only movie industries, but also in theater programs as well. They keep thinking that, oh, we gotta like include everybody. We gotta like change the story to fit their narrative. Because since the modern people don't know what history is, which is kind of disgraceful. So from what I'm reckoning, you're gonna like tell the kids who is now learning history, they're gonna say, oh yeah, Joan of Arc was not a white French peasant girl. No, she was not. She was black. you know? How messed up is that? You know what I mean? That's kind of like raising a couple eyebrows if you ask me. A lot of students gonna say, huh? Wait, like, is this written in freaking textbooks? I don't remember that. That's kind of weird. But I say, no, no. She was like definitely black. She was a peasant girl, in France. I wonder, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how the French people are gonna react right now. And I already said it in my latest comment about, you know, saying how Joan of Arc is declared a saint in 1920, right? So, like, isn't this, oh, I don't know, like I said before, isn't this blasphemy? Isn't, like, making the Catholic Church embarrassed or something? Like, what am I missing here? Like, am I, like, I'm kind of confused of what's going on or what these people are trying to like assume how Joan of Arc is looking right now. She's probably turning over her grave. She's probably looking up in the heavens, saying like, "What is happening? Why is my appearance doesn't look like me? What's happening? This is a betrayal. This is a disgrace. I seen there are plenty of actresses in not only movies but maybe in other productions as well that can do incredible job at playing Joan of Arc, but her, no, not even close. I'm sorry. You may be, an incredible actress in Scotland or something like that, or doing other performances, but playing Joan of Arc, that's not it. The role's not for you. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, I don't know, who decided it. It just like it's not gonna look, it's not gonna end well. I'm sorry. And not to like stumble my words here, guys. This is the damn truth. She's gonna get either a lot of hate and a lot of people going after her in the program, and it's going to be ugly. It really is. Because historians alike are going to be so pissed off. Not to mention French historians. They're going to be so angry. Do you really want to piss off French people? You know how ugly they can get when they see something like this happening right now. And like I said, it's already happened before. You did it with Cynthia Erivo when you decided to make her Jesus Christ. And look, I do not care if you're going to call me out saying, like, oh, Maggie, it's a theater program, get used to it. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm a Christian, I'm a devoted Christian. I'm not going to accept something that is going to cause blasphemy and is going to cause a lot of hate. Okay? And first of all this kind of drama, Jesus Christ was never a woman. Okay? Get that through your head. Alright? Like, my God, man, like, give me a break. It's always the race card, always a race card in my face. Like, get that out of my face, damn it. Just get out of there. Alright? If you want to do something that no one's had done before, come up with a different story. Do something different. You understand? Why does it have to be based on historical, accuracy? Why? You understand? You can't do nothing, accurate nowadays? Like, really? I could tell you who can fit this description of Joan of Arc for the past few years in the film history throughout, maybe even a theater program. And I could give you an example, okay? Like look at Mila Jovich, I'm sorry I butchered your last name. I'm so sorry. But look at Mila, for example, right? She was played Joan of Arc in the movie back in the, I believe, in the early 2000s or the 90s or whatnot. I believe I gotta look it up, but it says right here where the movie, you know, production and when the release date came out, right? She played Joan of Arc. I know the movie was not that great, but she made a fantastic Joan of Arc. It looks just like her. It's just uncanny, okay? The other one, I believe, I forgot the actress name, but she was in Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventure. I don't know who cast her, but she is phenomenal. She's fantastic. She looks exactly like Joan of Arc. It's like icing on the cake. I know, like, she had, like, a little bit of screen time, but she looks just like her. It's just mind boggling that they know how to cast her. But getting back to this whole theater project they're doing right now, this coming May, I wonder how this is gonna last. I wonder how the critics are gonna react. I can tell it's gonna be either mixed reviews or just gonna be a lot of hate because this poor girl is being cast as Joan of Arc and she didn't know, who Joan of Arc is probably. And from what I'm reckoning, it's gonna be ugly. They're probably either like gonna keep the story and just keep it as it is, or they're gonna probably like change the entire narrative, like scrap everything and piss a lot of French people. That's my speculation. And I am very disappointed in this theater program that's going along with it. I don't know who in the HR department or the head people of the theater program gave the green light to. I really don't freaking know. Okay, don't hold me to it, you guys. All right, I don't know. Because this is really wrong. I'm just saying. I have nothing against the girl who's gonna like play her. She could do so many other incredible roles. Maybe she can do so much better. I could see her do other things. And I'm gonna be honest before I end this video right now, you guys. I just want to put this out there. You cannot do, how can I say this? You cannot like change history. That's all I can say, okay? It's like you want to like make Alexander the Great, Asian, or you want to make, Attila the Hun African American, or you want to make who else is another historical figure? You want to change, oh yeah, you want to make no, Napoleon from France, either Muslim or Hispanic. Who knows, right? And how people are gonna react to that? That's my theory. That's my prediction because that's what's going to happen nowadays. Because everyone wants to change history because apparently the modern culture, the Gen Zs or the wokies, thinking that this is history. This is what's happening right now. They want to change everything. Look, if any of my subscribers are in that kind of generation, you guys had to wake up. I'm sorry. It's not that hard to go to the library, read a book, and just look up history. And if you guys tell me, like, oh, Maggie, I don't want to read, it's so much hard work, it was hard for me, okay? I had to study, I gotta pass exams, I had to do all these reading exams. You tell me how hard it is just to, like, pass an exam. You tell me and when you go to school how hard that is just to like figure out how to study your butt off learning about these kind of histories through the past to the present to the future. Tell me right now, like tell me the definition of hard of studying, because you guys probably don't hardly look at anything nowadays besides Wikipedia and other sources, thinking that all these people in the web dictionary of the modern things is accurate. It's not. Okay? So don't give me that crap of all this. But other than that, you guys, I just feel like, this production of Joan of Arc, like the title called Saint Joan, is gonna backfire. It really is. I don't know how many tickets are being sold right now. I can tell that hardly anyone's gonna see this performance. I highly doubt it. I wonder how the critics are gonna react to it because this is just happening way too much. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for this girl. I really do. I just really hope she's safe. I just hope she doesn't get any she doesn't get hurt or anything like that because someone, cast her in Joan of Arc. I just hope she's safe. That's all. Just keep an eye on her because I don't want anything, God forbid something happens to her, like blacklisted or being, you know, I don't know what she's gonna do, because I know that she's probably excited. Like anyone can be excited for a role, but specifically Joan of Arc, I don't know. She can do so much better. Just saying. All right. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think of her being cast as Joan of Arc, and what do you guys think overall of my video? All right. I'd like to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. All right. And again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. We almost reaching almost 40 40,000 subscribers. Oh my goodness, that's a lot, a lot of subscribers. So continue subscribing, okay, you guys? You guys are awesome. And again, you guys, if you guys really enjoyed this video, to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, check the description down below to follow my separate platforms as well as support content. Alright, guys? So this is your Hellfire leader, Maggie Negan, the Walking the Fangirls. See you next video. We have a wonderful day, you guys. Peace out.